Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? Hi, Nat.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So today's guest that was supposed to join us today instead had made a decision to step away from writing and the public space altogether. And I respect that. That's his decision, and I respect it. And but I also believe there's something important in a moment that worth talking about, and that's what most of us go through on Substack. And Nat and I have been talking about it this afternoon, and we thought to continue the show in a mostly in a respect that we all get burnt out, we all get tired of writing, we all, and especially for someone who's newbie, and I've been on here for a while, and the struggles you go through, and it really all depends on what you do on here. Well, some of us want to make money, some of us just want to be as a hobby and write it, and there's a lot of other people that just enjoy writing because that's their passion and so forth. And others are readers. There's about maybe 90% quit after a few weeks of writing and so forth. So there is a burnout. There's some things, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about that in a podcast that was going to honor someone who is a great writer, and I appreciated him, and I did follow him. He was one of my earlier followers and supporters, and I was a lily billy little kind of like small fish in this big pond, and I still am. And he gave me some props and things like that. So, but I kind of want to go into this discussion and talk about it. And uh, Nat, I'm going to throw this back at you and just kind of give me your experience so far on Substack. And we talked about some anxiety, expectations. Kind of just tell us your intro um, to this world.
Sure. I've been on Substack. I just finished 4 months in February, and it's been really good. When I started, it really was just a channel for me to get my thoughts out. I've shared my story on previous podcasts with John, and Substack was really therapeutic for me. And I started writing, and I really loved what was happening. Um, what I found was, and I'm not sure if it was just the algorithm, if everything changed, it really sort of evolved into somewhat of a different platform. And the I guess the peace and the serenity that I felt when I initially started, that just seemed to dissipate, and it looked like it was becoming more of a competitive type of platform, where I started feeling that pressure and that anxiety of, you need to post 5 notes a day if you want to succeed. You need to do three long posts a week. There were people who are very, and I'm happy for them. If it really is the case, they've been on the platform for 2 weeks and they have 500 subscribers. What that does is, you're not really supposed to compare yourselves to anyone. Comparison is the thief of joy, or whatever that is. But it really does do that, and it creates this pressure, this level of anxiety that it's like produce, produce, produce. I recently wrote an article which stemmed from some really strong frustration towards where I thought the platform was going. And it became, I guess, viral in the Substack world. It's been about 2 weeks, and I'm still getting likes, comments, subscribers from it. And really, it just questioned the authenticity of the content that's being generated. And I feel I feel bad for us, who are here trying to fit our art and our creativity into like a mass produced template. And so the burnout is real, and while I've not really felt it as yet, I do feel that immense pressure. And I know John, going to send it back to you because you said that you've experienced burnout in the past year because you generate a lot more than I do.
Well, I to start off, I've been here over I think 5 years now, almost 5 years. And when I first started, I mean, I wrote 100 days, 100 inspirational stories in 100 days, and that was my goal is to write that.
Wow.
And after that, I was burnt out. I was tired of it. It was a lot that I put on myself, and I figured that was an issue. And when I did it, it was just for me just to write. And I had these high expectations that people were going to come and follow me and subscribe to me, and
Me too.
had all these big huge things. I'm going to get millions. I'm going to get like all that kind of stuff. But it was opposite because what I needed to do was solicit for myself people to come on my Substack, because back then there was no true avenue to tap into people on the platform. So notes was not around, these podcasts were not around. It was very um, it was really from the start. It was just mostly it was a blog. You posted. It
Yeah.
was your page, your publication, and it was a way to kind of like get you going. And the monetarism was in there too, still, and it was sort of working that direction. But but I got burnt out and I stopped writing, and actually stopped the whole platform complete because I was like, no one's listening, no one's wants to read my stuff, no one's interested, and I got jaded and I walked away from it.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It's hard. I mean, aside from my post going viral, I've been working to get subscribers, and I'm trying to do it in in an authentic way because I really feel strongly about what it is that I'm doing and what I'm writing. But, I one of my strategies is, if you follow me and you're following me for about a month, I'll check in and I'll ask, is how's it going? Do you like the content? If so, would you consider subscribing? I mean, I'm open to saying what it's not a secret, but I think everything should be done in an authentic way, because when it's not, it's just causing this immense pressure on the rest of us. And John, like, I'm sure, I've read a lot of stories where people are like, I've been writing and I feel like no one's listening and I'm writing into the void. And it's really it's frustrating and it's sad because I think the beauty of Substack is we can all learn from each other. And I know when I was going through my layoff and just losing my job and just this whole reinvention process, I like really thought I was alone. And it wasn't until I jumped on this platform that there were so many like, oh my gosh, me too. Like this is happening to me. And like you find your people here. So it's great. And anyone who feels that they shouldn't continue to write or they feel discouraged, I strongly advise against it because someone here needs to hear your story. And
well, you all just, if I may,
yeah,
there was one thing you basically said: people write for the void, and in reality, that's what I was doing. I was writing to the void. I didn't
mm,
write for the right reasons,
okay.
and it takes a while to create your voice. A lot of it, and we talked about this on Saturday with Shadow Pursuit with Shadow, where we talked about writing for yourself, and that was the important part of the thing. And identity writing is important for a writer. Like, you need to identify who you are as a writer. Like, why are you writing? Like, are you writing because you're trying to impress people? Are you trying to what's the purpose of your writing? And let's talk about the post that you put. I mean, and I'm jealous. I'll admit it. I'm like,
Oh,
I've never received a viral post like that. And I was thinking to myself, what. Now, I made the top influencers or rising influencers 5 times
yeah,
last
I've never had that. So we
year.
can
Well,
trade. We'll trade
sucks
and
to
we'll
be
see what each other
sucks
feels
to be
like.
you. No, just kidding. No, no.
Well,
But in your case though, you wrote that story and you wrote it. Why did you write it? Tell me, why did you write it?
yeah.
And what's the
So,
piece called? This what the piece called first.
sorry.
What's the name of the piece? Like what was the article about? Like what's the name of the article? This
I think it's called, gosh, the level of inauthenticity on Substack is unreal. And then I think Substack changed the format of how you see it in the picture. So I think the next line goes right into, I'm going to say what most of you won't, and it's, I hate AI generated content. And it, and I have to like sort of take a step back with that, because it's not that I hate AI generated content per se, but I don't like it on Substack. And I especially do not like it as part of an automated note system. And to your point, like what drove me? So I think there were a lot of things building up within the month of January, because like I said, I've been on the platform for about 4 months. So really November, December, everything had looked really good. I was getting posts that I could relate to. I was interacting with people. And then I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it went nuts, and it became, how to grow your subscribers in 90 days. And everybody was, I'm making $10,000 and I'm working 2 hours a week. And I now think in hindsight, maybe it's because I was getting so close to being unemployed. Maybe I started looking at that and it drove the algorithm. But long story short, I just think that my feed got inundated with that. And then I noticed, I think the thing that drove me over the edge really was, I was reading an article, and there was a, I guess, a product. I wouldn't say it's an app, but it's some type of program that's being used in conjunction with Substack, and it was now being geared towards automating the response for notes. And I was just like, that's it. I'm like, if you can't
what? I
write a
didn't what?
proper,
What?
yeah,
There's what? Seriously?
like an automated response. So whatever, this bot will go through your Substack feed, and then automated response to your note based on, for me, based on Nat's history. And I just felt that was so inauthentic. And that, like, I mean, I was in rage mode, like absolute rage. And I think I just let it all out. And I think anyone who reads that post, you can feel that it wasn't, I think I barely had time to spell check it, because it really was at the point where I needed to come out of me, because if it didn't, I think I would have exploded. And so that really was, but all of the inauthentic content. The other thing that I've noticed, and John, this goes back to what you just said, there are people on this platform where they're writing these amazing articles, and you're like actually resonating with it, and you're making comments. And this really happened to me. There was one person I was following, and I really enjoyed what I was reading, and I started making comments. And when the person wrote back, I'm like, there's no way that you generated this, because you could not match the level of articulation that was written in that article to what they were commenting. And then I started spotting patterns, and I realized that, this is not why we're here. So I think I struck a nerve, and I think my post just hit 800 likes. It may be more. And I would say, 99% of the people who have commented, they're in agreement and they feel the same. And they said I was brave for saying it, but I think I was just so angry. And sometimes, to your point, like when you write from like the heart, and you really write what you feel, I think other people feel it. And there's no way in hell that this post could have been generated from anything out of anger. And so I think that's the secret. So,
Well, you
everybody,
but okay, so we touch AI. AI is a tool, and if you use it as a tool to help writers,
I love it as a tool.
and I use it as a tool because I have dyslexia, and that's my way to to correct some of the grammatical errors that I do have
Wow.
in
Yeah.
place. But the voice is mine. I
Yeah.
mean, that's my writing. I'm actually physically writing it.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing grammar checks or I'm doing spelling checks and it's correcting me or it's giving me another alternative, that I don't think that's ruining your identity. I don't think that's, I mean,
No.
maybe maybe I'm mistaken, but I look at it as more of as a tool uh, in trying to improve my writing, and it actually is helping me as a writer. I
Yeah.
think it's helped me tremendously from where I was before to today.
I
Um,
I'm not in disagreement of that. And even in the article, I add a disclaimer that I use it on my post. Just for spelling and grammar. And sometimes it does offer, it will rearrange some of what I did and reframe it. And, I don't like how that sounds. So personally, for me, I reject those changes, but I'm not against somebody doing that. But you can tell when something is, the content has just been completely AI generated, even if it does have a little bit of someone's
right.
voice in there. But
Well,
um
I'll give you an example. So this is a real example. So we're working on, and I'm going to let everybody know, and as a little inside scoop, I'm working on a script, and I'm
mhm.
working on a little mini series of 8 episodes, and I created this show, and we're working across the pond, the Atlantic, into Thailand, and we're asking people to create an AI generated, uh, maybe a 30-second, 40-second thing. But the problem is there's multiple scenes in that situation. So it's not just stagnant, right? So what we need to do, and so when we first saw the first take, we saw them and we said, this looks great. But you can tell it went from one type of character to next type of character to another character to another character. And it's supposed to be cartoonish. And
uh
by the time it got to the last scene, these guys were not cartoonish because I wanted to be cartoonish, like almost like remember Rocky and what's that show?
Bullwinkle.
Bullwinkle. Yeah, I wanted to
Yeah.
be more of like that type of
Yeah.
cartoon, and it didn't. I mean, we're still working with people, and people are charging you almost $100 an episode, for example, for just to do 40, 50-second content.
Wow.
Um, so we threw it back and said, if you're using AI, you better make it better
Yeah.
because we're not.
Exactly. You could probably do that yourself.
Well, yeah, I was looking at myself and I was like, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
But my point to that is that I think AI is good. It helps you to be a lot more concise if you need to be. It helps you with your spelling and all that. But to truly take over your whole entire
Yeah.
writing, I don't think that's good. But and and in reality, AI has been around since the 1990s.
Yeah. Well, I
Even I
think
think
I
even a little earlier.
I think that, I mean, we've used AI, we just probably don't know it. But I mean, anyone who uses Microsoft Word, and you're using spell check and email and
Your
autocorrect and
GPS is AI
yeah,
generated. So
true. So
yeah,
I'm not like the anti AI queen, but I'm just saying that on
no, I
Substack,
understand.
right? Just
Yeah,
kind of keep it real so that the connections, because the last thing, I felt very betrayed when I felt like I connected with that person, and then I realized that what they were writing really wasn't coming from them. And maybe that's on me, maybe other people are okay with that. But I just
right.
felt like how I just felt like it was inauthentic. And
But
again, it just, the
but out of
pressure
that
that it
but out of that
creates.
piece though, I should bring the mic over here so you can hear me better. I hope this is better.
Yes, I can
I
hear
totally
you.
forgot about it. But it was over here.
I don't have one. I'm very unprofessional, so.
It's okay. I don't know if were you hearing me okay? I didn't know.
Oh, I
Um,
could hear a little bit. Yeah. It's
I was
better
gonna,
though.
it's better. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I apologize.
No
Uh,
worries.
now I don't even know what. your piece that you did, and I'll say this, it was, you found your voice. And in that moment, you found your voice. You found who you were. You identified yourself. This is me. This is me. This is my house now. You kind of went and said, "This is my house." You know? So,
Yeah.
and I said, and I wrote you, and I said, "This is your voice. Don't sway from that. Fix that. I mean, not fix it. Keep honing it. Keep working on it.
Yeah.
Don't try to do anything else." And the next piece has got to be similar to that. And we kind of used AI to say what was identifiable to this content. And we kind of just said it was authentic. It had some realism. It had some raw, honest,
Yeah.
like gut wrenching. This is, like I said, this is my house. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, did you think that was your voice then? Because most writers don't find their voice for a while.
No, not at all. And again, like it's been really hard to replicate that because I write from such a place of like I have to feel it, and if I don't feel it, it doesn't come out that way. And so it's, that's the hard thing. And I think the other piece that I was toying with was really just this anxiety that I've been feeling, that I feel like so many others, and that just may be my next piece. I'm just toying with it at the moment. But you're right. I mean, that is definitely, I've never written anything that's resonated with so many people, and it was never coming from a vindictive place, but I just felt like,
I
gosh.
felt it. No, just kidding.
Well, I mean, if you felt anger like that, that's
Yeah.
okay. But I wasn't coming after like anyone specifically. But I just wanted everyone on the platform to just know that, like, hey, this is not okay, because I feel like you're putting a lot of pressure on everyone else, and B, again, like for me to connect with someone, like I take that really seriously. I love the connections. I've made some really good connections. And I mean, John, like you reached out to me, and I was so like blown away. I was like, oh my God. Like, I mean, you and I met like on my crazy cocktails and mocktails, get to know each other. And, we met for an hour. And
Yeah.
then, then you invited me to do your podcast, which I did a few weeks ago. And so we are building connections and friendships. And, you sent me a copy of your book, and it's just been amazing. And so I just feel like these are things that we need to
Right.
keep, with,
Did
with
you
the
write the
state of
review yet?
everything.
I'm just kidding.
What?
Did you write the review yet? I'm just kidding.
No, but I will. I'm on book one. I have two books of yours to read,
Thank
so
you.
yeah.
I
But I am
appreciate
going to read it and write a review.
it.
Well, I love your work, so
Thank you.
and I'm not just saying that.
No, I, uh,
But
so we're now really touching about performance and through and being authentic. And performance was something that I was doing. Like I was writing and just performing, just kind of put it out there and just hopefully. And a lot of my writing in the past was actually write about Substackers or people on TikTok and kind of like generate something like that. And this year I made a really true conscious decision and said, you know what, that's just 5 days a week, just write about other people. And I would write sometimes here and right there. And I didn't really feel that I was giving my true self in those situations, even though the articles were good and people
yeah,
loved them and things like that. And I just felt like I was missing something for me. I didn't,
yeah,
it was something. So then that's when I decided to do, and I'm going to just say this, like, so I decided to change up my publication is completely different. It's more like a newspaper. If that makes sense, right?
yeah. Different
Yours is,
sections.
yeah, yours is more of, hi, I'm Nat, and I'm going to write periodically, and it's going to be raw, honest, and bones. You know what I mean? It's going to cut you through, right? and that's okay. You can do
Yeah.
that. That works for you. For me, I like to do I like to kind of be like, I'm a newspaper guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's my past. That's who I am. So when I write like I'm thinking I'm building a newspaper because that's how I'm built. And so, so Mondays for me now is more of a life lesson. Like I'll find something and I'm writing, and it's not a long piece, but it's about life and generally. And then on Wednesdays, my goal is to write about the other project I'm working on is the whole, which is
Hmm.
the whole World War II thing. And
Right.
then, or it's going to be my something that I'm going to be writing about and put it into a book. So it's like that's sort of like, and that'd be a lot more long format. But the idea behind that is I make that into a mini series. And if people were following, you're following the hospital visit that I had this year. And
Yeah.
by the way, one of those Tuesday nights things, I was in the hospital and she was offer. She was, you want to come? I said, well, kind of awkward in a gown or something. I can't remember what I said.
Yeah, you were. I just kept saying, like, where, like, I had so much fun the first time, and I'm like, where is John? Oh gosh, I
Yeah.
had no
So
idea. I mean, I'm so happy that
thank
you're
you.
here and you're back.
But
Seriously.
but thank you, I appreciate it. But the thing is that and then that's Wednesday, and then Friday is me promoting Monday show, taking the gas. And I also kind of went back to what I really wanted to do with this show was to introduce writers from Substack, which was the reason why my previous guest was what I wanted to promote them and give them something, give back to them, and kind of give them a platform for like almost like a thank you,
Yeah.
give them a little bit of a stage, help them out. But I really wanted to talk about, and this is what we're kind of going through. We're talking about the stories behind the stuff, like what it took us to get here, or what it took us to get to the soul work that you are now working on, which is one of the things you're working on is your soul work. And then the soul work, really, what does that look like? What tools are you using? Like, for example, is AI a tool for you? Is a community there to help you? Is it your family or friends? Who's helping you getting through that? And then Substack is, or the writing, the creativity, which I kind of expanded to more like art and all that kind of stuff. Because now you go through all that, that's your outlet to kind of like make sense to the chaos in your head,
Yeah.
and then hopefully it comes out like your piece. It comes out. So that's really, so when I was doing last year's things and I'm doing this year, it had to do with I didn't want to become a performance. I just didn't want to write for the sake of writing. I
Yeah.
wanted to write because I wanted to make every people feel welcomed. I want them to feel more that I wasn't writing to perform. I was writing to get to the meat of life, and that's really what my positive pens all is about. It was just the inspirational stories within. How do we help each other get through certain things? And if I'm that guinea pig throughout that, then great. I'm going to be the guinea pig. And but that's that authentic and performance is a struggle.
Yeah.
And because of that is you're dealing with the likes, the comments, and all, and they're all great. And I'll be honest with everybody. I respond as much as I can to everybody, and I know I miss people. I really,
Yeah.
and it really upsets me that I miss them because I look at it as they took the time to come on my page or my content and
Yeah.
like my stuff, comment it or restacked it, and and in return, I want to give them a thank you. But I know I'm missing people along the way, and I feel bad. Really. So some nights I'll sit on my phone. Here's the funny thing. You're on your phone and you're trying to get all these comments. You're trying to look for all of them, and all of a sudden you get a bing, and it bounces you back on top. I'm like,
Yes.
why
That
does that
happened to me
happen?
yesterday. I was
Like, why
so
does that happen?
angry.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? But
So, are you struggling with the performance and the like? I'm sorry, I'm a little long winded, but is that
no.
your struggle too?
Um just well, with that post, like I said, I've never had anything like that. But, you know, similar to what you just said, I strongly believe that if anyone is going to take the time to write a comment, I've been responding to each comment. And on that post, I think we're up to 452. So
But half
that's
of
been
them
a
are
full
yours.
time job.
Half of them are
So
yours, right?
it is. But you know what? In the spirit, especially for that post, because on my other posts, those comments are easy to go back and just respond to them. On this post, it's been so it's just really been on fire that I just really have to keep responding and staying on top of the responses, because if I don't, then yeah, like, the page just keeps refreshing and I lose it and I'm like, oh my gosh.
You know
So
what? Here's the. You know what we should do? You and I should do a collaboration on the scroll on the phone and just bitch about it.
we should,
and,
there we go. Well,
and
now
you
that I'm
and
angry,
I, and you and I should just be
angry
like
lady
rage,
about everything.
and we should take a video of it and show the like the thing bounce it back up and just say this is ridiculous. We should do something like that.
Oh, but hey, I actually have a good one.
Uh,
Have you ever, because this one is gold. This
yeah.
is really something to be pissed about. Have you ever gotten a live person on Substack help?
No, I actually
No.
I haven't used it. No, I haven't used.
Okay, so I in the beginning, it's AI in its worst format, because I really it just regenerates the question in a different format, and I think I might have actually cursed at it. So
You sure it's not word support? What is it? What is it that the Windows for the remember the Windows guys would say your license is almost ending and you gotta
oh my gosh, it's like, yeah, it's
and their accent,
ridiculous.
where they're coming from. I don't want to name
Oh,
the country because I don't want to be I don't want to
oh
be
yeah,
rude,
no,
but
no. We're not trying to, but it's a genuine problem. And then I saw other people complain about it. So I'm like,
okay.
hey, maybe I'm onto something. But
So
John, I think what's important, based on what you just said, is you're someone that a lot of us can look at as an example and look up to, because you've been here. I mean, you said what, 5 years?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
It was
so the fact
either
that you've
it was during the pandemic I started a
yeah,
Substack and
so
maybe
then
but I was like a
2020,
reader
so
but I was a reader for a couple years maybe. I was afraid of writing.
yeah.
I didn't know what to write. So um I maybe didn't start coming back. Maybe I started writing around the end 2022. That's when I
Okay.
started. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, still, it just goes to show that, the writing on this platform, it evolves, because I mean, I'm new and I'm 4 months, so I could be writing from my heart and writing from my gut, but who knows where I'll be a year from now, in terms of writing. And for me, it's healing, so it's part of my process. But I hope a year from now I'm healed and I'm not I have happier things to write about. But
Well, no,
um
you're authentic and you're raw and honest, and that's what I strive for every time.
yeah,
I may not be perfect in my writing, and maybe I
I mean,
miss
I
more.
love your stuff.
Well, thank you. I mean,
I think everyone should get your book, and you didn't tell me to do this, but I'm just saying this.
okay.
It's really, I mean, I'm really, the great thing is, do you mind if I speak about your book
No,
for a
go
moment?
ahead.
Okay.
I mean, I
Um,
might get a little red, so
okay.
I don't take
We will,
compliments well, by the
we don't
way.
want you to get red.
That's
But
okay.
I have it right here. So it's earned, not given. And you tell your story, basically, of the struggles that you went through, and how you got to where you are. And I unfortunately I'm not finished yet, so I can't really speak to the conclusion, but I'm I think everything ended up good. Um, but from the moment I picked it up, I just thought, how cool is it that A, I know this person, and B, they're telling a story that so many of us have been through, and it's refreshing and it's inspiring because you actually know who you're rooting for, right? It's not like
Right.
some fictional character, and so I'm actually really excited to finish it, and I think it's a great read. And
Thank
John,
you.
I do love your work on Positive Pen. I look forward. I love those drawings. Those they inspire me. I mean, I see all of the snow. Everyone probably hates me if I'm going to say I love snow because in New York we were done with snow. I think you probably are as well in Pennsylvania, but I
Yeah.
love your snow pictures. I love
Thank you.
the drawings that accompany them, and I just think it's great. So I
Thank
feel
you.
like I'm sad that the person that you wanted to have on the show, that they chose to maybe end their Substack writing. But I think for all of us who stay, it's just important that everyone understands that we're all here for each other. We're here to support each other, and you'll find your people. I mean, not everyone will be your people, and that's okay.
No, no, and then I mean, thank you for all that. I do want to say this. I mean, when I read people's contents all the time. I'm kind of like skimming through it, and something catches me, and I'll start reading it, and I do reach out and say, hey, or I'll start following people. And one of the things I made a promise myself, I'm not going to subscribe to everybody, but the ones who are in my community or in my orbit, I would say, is I will subscribe and I will help them. I will promote them because I believe in if we're helping each other, we're lifting all of us at once. And
Yeah,
we're not competing with each other. I'm not competing with you. You're not
yeah,
competing with me. Like I said, my Substack is completely different than your Substack. Like I said, mine's more of a newspaper. You're gonna come to it, you're gonna feel like a newspaper. I'm reading an old newspaper. Go on your Substack, it might be full of flowers and all this other stuff, and it's going to be more girlish. I'm not saying that it is, but
right.
it might be
Yeah,
completely different atmosphere. We all have different ways to approach to our readers, but we're not in competition. We're not fighting. And notes, and I want to just say this: notes. I didn't start using notes until I would say like 5 months ago,
yeah. How do you
and
feel about notes?
so when it did started, I didn't really use it, didn't understand it. Um, I was apprehensive at start. Like I was like, "Ooh, what does that mean?" Um, but then when I got into it, I started reading it, and I was like, "Okay." And I made some posts here and there, and I was trying to figure myself out how I'm going to post on things. And the suggestion I always say to people: just test it. Like test how you're going to post. Like it might be a sentence. It might be a quote. It might be just pictures. It might be your artwork. Post your
Hmm.
artwork. Your art, like
Right.
that's a voice right there. You're sharing your voice. So share that.
Yeah.
That's huge. And so when I started to look at pictures on the internet, and sometimes it's my pictures, sometimes it's my art. Maybe it might be from Substack itself. You go to Substack, they have free pictures. I don't know if anybody knew that. They have free.
No.
You go. It's called Unsplash. You go in there
Oh,
and you yeah.
okay. I've heard of it, but I've not used it. I don't
So if
think.
you go, if you create an article or you create a
Hmm.
post, like a writing post, you're looking at and you're gonna post. You're gonna open up the. You're gonna post your window. You're gonna create an image or whatever it is.
Oh,
You click on that and it says gallery or search gallery, whatever it is.
okay. Yes,
You
I've
can
used
go in
that
there.
then. Okay, so my
Yeah, you
bad.
can go in
Okay.
there and you could use whatever picture they want. It's all free content, right?
Yes.
So I was looking at that and I was like, and then some pictures just inspired me. So the thing that happened for me was the daily thoughts. It used to be called the daily thoughts. And it used to be just a blurb. and I would post it in the article, and I would do that, and really got no traction at all.
Oh,
So I was like, okay, that didn't work, and so I'm gonna start just like, I don't know, I don't I'll like I'll write about the morning, like how I felt, what was going
yeah.
on, and that's a real moment for me. Like, and then I go, then it's gone. Like I kind of like, and then people are tagging on, they're liking it, they're looking, and then I kind of like,
Those are
okay.
great though. I love those.
But those are, so I took the daily. So what I was doing, creating over here, you got to
Hmm.
remember, so you're creating anxiety. Like, this is not working. Why is it not working? All of a sudden, I'm playing
Right.
around with notes, and it opened a whole new door for me.
Yeah.
And I get subscribers from there because people
Yeah.
like it or they're following me and things like
Right.
that. I do get a couple a day just by doing that. But I don't follow a format. Like, there's people out there, like you were saying, like, oh, you got to post like 5 times a
Yeah.
day and you got to do this. No, why? Why would you put yourself in a machine? That's a process.
That is a
Like,
process. Eh,
and no one had, like, don't be wrong. Some days I might post 10 things because
yeah.
I'm bored, I'm home, I'm watching TV, I get a quote, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, and I'll write about
Yeah.
it, and then I'll post it. Like boom, just like, or I'm watching a television show and someone might say something, or a friend might say something to me. Excuse me. Um, so my point is, if you're posting for the sake of
Posting.
posting and attracting people, that's
Yeah.
not authentic. That's a performance.
Right. Yeah.
Today I only posted one time. It was about the show,
Hmm.
and the rest of the day I was busy doing other things.
Yeah.
And so, and I know it's a long answer, and I apologize.
No.
I think because I wanted people to understand the background of my thought process. So, and the reason why I got here, I like notes because it's a creative way for me to express the daily thoughts that I have, and I get a chance to read your article or someone else's article, and I can restack it, or I make it into like a like I
Like a
got three.
quote.
Well, no, like what there like so what I'll do sometimes, I might restack it and just put my comment on there, and that's it. Or sometimes I call it spotlight restack, and I would put the person, I kind of like, I'll make it more of like an official restack.
Oh.
And I might post my updates on my Substack so people know what's going on. And that, I mean, I kind of use it as a way to help other writers move
Right.
on, uh, get more likes, get more things. So it's more of a tool to help others, inspire others, maybe get some of my promo is out there, and that's how I use it. It's not, I don't know if it's the right way or the wrong way. It's just what I do.
Um, no, I
Oh,
mean, I think there is no right way, um really, again, like a template. I think the only wrong way is what you're saying, which is if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, then you shouldn't. I mean,
right.
I've not posted a note today. And again, going back to this, and this was what we discussed earlier when the show started. If you're going to post based on a template and you're doing, 3, 5 notes a day, what part of the issue is that the content is the same and you're just saying it in so many different ways. And if I'm scrolling and I see the same thing from you 5 times written in 5 different ways, then I'm not there's a level of irritation that happens. And I'm not the only one that feels this way. I've heard this from many other people. So I
Mhm.
think it's great that you actually have your balance and you have a system. And the thing that's great that you're doing, it's like you're understanding what works and what doesn't work. And if something doesn't work, you're 5 years later or 4 years later, you're still pivoting and you're still looking to kind of make it your own and bring you, because I think ultimately what I'm getting from this is that you're just trying to find what makes you what brings you joy, because if you're writing stuff and, I mean, no one's looking at it, then to me it's not that you're upset because no one's looking at it. I think, from what I know of you, it's probably because you feel like no one's connecting with it.
That's
And
exactly it. And it
right,
goes back
yeah,
to being authentic. If you're not connecting, people
exactly,
are not being,
right.
yeah,
So
that's 100% it. And that's why
yeah.
notes hits the way it does, is because, and I say this to anybody who does notes, is you got to try different versions. It might not
Hmm.
be, I mean, one person was like a traveler and she loved to travel. And I said, then write notes about that. Create a quote of why you love this place and what
Yeah.
inspired you. And not everybody has to take my advice, but that was an advice that I thought would, because that was their passion, right? So the other thing is, if you're just doing it for not for doing it, that's performance. Obviously, passion is really why it resonates. So you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
It's the connection. So I didn't think it that way. I thought it more of, it was like I was writing for myself. If you connected, you connected. If not, oh well.
Well, I mean, I think
I'll
you
try a
are,
different
but
way.
I don't think that, knowing you, I don't think you're like, I'm not going to do this because it has 0 likes. I think you're like, wait, this didn't hit as many people as I hoped it would, or didn't have that impact, because I think that's where I get my, that's how I look at likes. It's like, did I make a difference? Did I make an impact? And that to me is always the reward that comes with a great post. You want to be able to have someone reach out to you and say, like, wow, that made me feel, a certain way. Or I also wrote this other post, besides the, authenticity one. I wrote a really, this one was painful to write, just about the moment that I realized that I needed to get away from my job.
Yes, I
And
read that one. Yes, I did. Yeah,
the day he broke me, and
yeah.
I realized I wrote that post, and I'm like wondering, I said, I hope people didn't think that I wrote it from a place of being like a victim, because that was never the intent. But the intent was just to show, I think, the pain and sort of what I went through, and I didn't allow myself to just understand it or feel it. I
Mm.
felt it obviously, but I didn't allow myself to process those feelings. And so when I finally got it out on paper, I remembered looking at it and I was like, wow, like I cannot believe that I let someone do this. And I can't believe I endured that behavior for another. I think that article was based on an experience in September of 24. And essentially, I endured another year and a quarter of that. So it just really, writing to me does, it kind of pulls out the things that you've been pushing into the back of your mind. So
Mm.
it's like, for me, it's very, it's therapeutic. And I think a lot of people, relate to that. And part of what I'm looking to do as well, sorry, what,
No, no, no.
just
I was gonna say that's the reason why I wanted you to come to the podcast. That when I read that article, I was like, wow, this person has depth. This person has,
thank
something
you.
that most people don't understand. And sometimes writing is not about just writing. It's about how you describe it. It's about the moments. It's about those little things, the little nuance that you don't really.
Yeah.
And then, and in your, and in your writing, when I was reading it, it was more how you just explained, and you didn't just explain it by saying, the cat walked out the door. You went, the cat walked, but it faced this, and then it challenged itself to do this. It went from this, and you
Yeah.
kind of went, you took the reader down a journey, and that's what writing is all about. It's about doing that, and if you could do it consistently that
Yeah.
way, you're going to resonate with people, and people are going to resonate with that type of writing. And when I read that, I was like, wow, this is a this is someone who's authentic, who's real, who's not being a facade, who's not being performance. It's someone I really want to bring on. And there's a lot. I'm telling you now, I would say all my subscribers are authentic of some way or another. They may not be, maybe they don't really, they don't post all the time, but you can
Yeah,
see their notes, you can see their thing, you can see their angst, you can see their pains, and that's what that that's about how we heal from the
absolutely.
stories that keep drowning us, and rather than suppressing, we're talking about growth.
Yeah.
And once it's written and once you post it, I look at it this way, it's done. And it's almost you're letting go of the
It
past. You're letting
yeah.
go what was, all the wrongs you did and or happened to you or whatever. You're just letting it go. You're letting it be. And I'll just let me so I did a Tony Robbins show. We
You
went down.
did?
I did a Tony Robbins. Oh, that was one of my bucket lists. I wanted to do it so bad. I wanted to walk on the coals. I wanted to do
Did
it
you
all.
do it? Did you
Yeah, I
walk
did
on
it all. I did it all. And it was one of the surreal moments in my life.
Wow.
It was like, holy shit, that's Tony Robbins right
Yeah,
there.
I
And there's like 5,000, 10,000 screaming idiots, like just going nuts, right?
the
For
energy is
the
crazy.
20, it's 24 hours. You're going back to your room maybe for 2 hours and you're back in there doing it again. And you're going like this. And he's yelling at you. He's like, you're gonna let go of your star. You're like, ah, like he's like in that, and there's like pop music, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, and the dancers out, and all this stuff. And I remember writing down my pains, and you go out and you burn them.
Ah, yes.
So that's a way to let go some of your pains. And then he taught you one of the things he taught you, which was I used to do this, and it's a meditation, and it's like think about the things that make joy. What was this most special thing in your life that brings resonancy in your life? Like what was that one moment that really just took you to a different space? The joy, the love, the feeling of feeling gratitude and appreciation. What was that feeling like? And so you go into that transit moment, and then he said, okay, make that go through your body up and down, make it really feeling good about you, and just kind of like getting your confidence up. And then he said, spread the love, spread it to your mom, spread it to your father, spread it to, and don't worry about you guys are having problems. Spread love, spread, ask for peace, ask for
Right.
gratitude. And he kept going down that path, and it was like that was actually a great practice. And then walking on the coals,
Oh
which was
man, I got to hear
probably
about this.
so it was day two, I think it was, and he goes, "You're walking on coals." Like every 5 minutes is like that. You're walking on coals. No one's walking out of there. If you're gonna quit, there's the back door. Go.
Oh my
And I don't
God.
think anybody was leaving. And I'm like, holy shit, how crazy this is, right? So all of a sudden it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I think it's Fort Lauderdale, not Fort Lauderdale. It's some down in Florida. I can't remember where it was. We're walking down, and we're like cattle going throughout the door, and everybody's lining up to these things, and nobody knows what's going on. It was like almost like what you could see the fire going. You could say, more coals,
Oh
right?
my God.
And he's out there just pumping. You're gonna walk on this. Don't think about it. You're gonna like he's just yelling at you. He's just like on top
I
of
could
like
picture
he's
him.
like going crazy, right? So I get right behind him somehow. Now I get right behind him. He goes, "You can't walk. It's okay." He picks her up and he walks the coals himself. And he goes, "Not hot enough. Put more coals on it." And I'm like 2 feet,
Oh my
2 meters
God.
away.
You're like, no.
And I get up there and I'm like, "Oh Jesus, help me!" Ready? Help me! And people are getting burnt, and people are getting like freaked out. Don't think about it, just walk. And then all of a sudden, we're walking, and I walked through it, and I was like, "Wow, I just did that. That's that was crazy."
Now,
So
did you feel anything?
no, I did not feel anything.
Oh my God. You're the
But
second person that I've known that told me that they did it and they don't feel anything.
no, because he preps your mind. Like I said, he preps your mind for almost 2 days, and by the time you're there to do it, if you're consciously thinking, if you're gonna like freak out and you're in fear mode, of course you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
That's just my belief. But I think he preps you so well that you when you get there, it's a different story. So yeah. So
Wow.
so yeah, that was. But again, back to the original thing here, it's being authentic and helping yourself out, trying to figure yourself what and those practices like being gratitude, being grateful for what's happening, be and not everything is a tragedy. Everything is happening through you, not to you.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the most important part, I always when I told my kids all the time, and we're starting to talk, which is kind of cool. I always to remind them when I was young, when they were younger, remember you're always loved, no matter
yeah.
what, no matter what. And that's something that I think people need to, and it doesn't have to be me loving you. It could be a spiritual thing. It could be your
Right.
dog. It could be your cat. Your cat and dogs will always love you no matter
Yeah.
what. And I think that's where if you get yourself grounded more and more, that's when you start becoming a lot more authentic. You start seeing more things in the world, and that's yeah. So that's
No,
how I.
it's
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. I was going to say it's very true. And just Tony, we touched on him, but I definitely feel that, when things happen, even if they're negative, it's really about how you take that and how you learn from it and you grow from it. And
Mm,
it's very important to not be to see it as the end all be all. I mean, I'm not speaking of tragedies. That's a completely different thing. But in the events of just life's misfortunes, like and again, that goes back to your book, like your persistence. I mean, I'm reading about it, and I just we're all humans, and we're pruned, like we're supposed to win.
right.
So I'm happy that you got to meet him and you did that. But life happens, and you've just got to get past certain things.
Well, that's the difference between you know, like I said, this writing exercise can be very exhausting to look for being visible, and we're touching that. And I think that's really important where, you know, you can try to, you could be really hard on yourself and scrutinize all yourself and feel like you're not being visible. But reality is that's why I reach out to people like yourself and other writers, and I try to have a dialogue of some sort or whatever. And I think even like today's post, I posted about my thread. Are you okay? Or are you doing okay? Really, are you doing okay today? I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like
Yeah.
that. And a picture of the a guy in the boat, very blue, and people were posting on it, and it was intent. Wasn't intentional. It was just more of like, hey, how are you doing, right?
Right.
Um, and in that thread, people were really talking about how they were feeling, and I thought to myself, those are real words, those are real moments, and they should be seen somehow. So I decided to write an article and I posted it today. And because everybody matters on this platform and also outside. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about X or things like that, but just kidding. No, 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 I'm just kidding. Everybody matters. But
Everybody on
that
X fights, so yeah, no.
but the thing is that that's where I don't think don't, and I was trying to make them visible, and that was really what I was trying to do is make them feel that their struggles created a story that I was able to share with other people, and I was thankful for that, and I made sure
Yeah.
I thanked them. Um, so that's, I mean, and I know you're now fully visible with 800 likes and things like that, and that thing go wild. But I mean, does it bother you that that you're kind of now like, like I guess exposed in some ways, but are you feeling like you're like
Uh,
with that one? I mean, how do you feel now?
Honestly, I mean, I feel like with that, I don't want that one post to define me, because I think that there's so much more that I'm writing about.
No, you're
In
just one
terms
dimensional.
of growth, what'd you say?
I said, you're just one dimensional.
No.
Sorry.
um, in terms of growth, it's been really great. I think I actually did a note where I set these really crazy goals for myself. And back when I started Substack, I had this notion of, I'm going to hit a certain amount of subscribers. And I had it for the month of February. I said at the end of February I'll have 500 subscribers. And I looked at my number on Saturday, and it was like 400 and change, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I probably can do this.
Yeah.
I didn't end up doing it for February, but I decided I was going to change the calendar, and I said, of course I would choose the shortest month to give myself the such a goal. So I decided I'm going to invent February 31st, which is really March 3rd. So I have until tomorrow to hit that number.
Okay.
But in terms of feeling different, well, I definitely feel like I've been seen. I feel like, to everyone who says that they post into the void, I know what that feels like. I've had some articles. I mean, I've had some likes, and it's not like it's been completely dead, but I have never seen anything like blow up like this. And even for me, for this, there are other people who has posts out there that's got like thousands of likes. So I can't even imagine what that is, but I feel grateful. I feel grateful. I feel like this has been, God showing me the way, because I was questioning a lot of, am I doing the right thing? Is this the direction that I needed? And then I posted that post on Ash Wednesday, and I went to church and I prayed, and then boom, I feel like it blew up, and it really got me some visibility. So I'm enjoying it. Again, I appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. And the one thing that I am doing is making sure that I am really responding to those comments, because I just feel like everyone who's taken the time to write about it, then, I owe them that much to respond.
Right.
And so it's been a lot. It's been a lot of work, but it's been good work. And I mean, I'm not employed at the moment, so I've been dedicating a lot of time to Substack that probably a lot of the employed people cannot. And I appreciate that as well.
Well, you touched a couple of things, your dreams, and you talked about the seasons. Like you got a couple things going on. Number one, you quit your job or you got laid off, how you want to
Hmm.
phrase it, and that's a season in life. Like you went through this job and you felt tremendous pain in that situation because of the the people that were in charge. I had other words, but I had to be
Oh
careful
yeah.
how I said those. So, but that was a season, and now you're in another season. But you talked about your dreams and you talked about certain things. When when we, I mean, a lot of people jump on Substack and they think they're going to become rich and famous, or they're going to
Yep.
become famous, or whatever. And it's not true because, as in my experience, there was a couple seasons that I went through on Substack. There was probably like five different types of seasons, and I mean maybe more if I look back and I start doing a timeline. And you're going through seasons because you're learning about what's working, what's not working for you.
Yep.
So you make some minor adjustments. And what people don't really understand is Substack is not an Instagram. It's not an X. You're not going to get massive followers. It's not video content on TikTok and you're doing a funny dance move. I
Yeah.
mean, it might be funny on Substack, but it may not be funny on TikTok. It's like you're trying to get your followers so you can build up your followers to do whatever you want to do after that. And I don't think people really understand that Substack, for me, and I'm not sure how you feel, it's it's like more of a place me sharing my art
Mm-hmm.
that I can't share elsewhere
Yeah.
properly. I can't do it on my Facebook because my family and friends will say, "You're not
Same.
a writer. You don't know how to do this." Like,
Yeah.
go blow it out of your ear, you know? Or um, you can't really do it on Instagram because it's mostly pictures and photos, and Twitter is
Right.
all about politics and anger and whatever
Yeah.
divisive thing that people put out there, distraction. And TikTok is nothing more of a combination of craziness. And so seems to be more of the sane area where I can actually share my work
Yeah.
and I feel appreciated for sharing my work because I get the compliments for, and I thank everybody for doing that. Appreciate it. And like you said, you were spending time writing or responding to everybody's comment. Is that how you feel what Substack is about? It's more about your art and your work versus the massive likes in other places. What does that make
Yeah.
sense to you?
I mean, that's part of the content, in the article that I wrote about, because I felt like, well, on Facebook, you're right. It's too many friends and family. I won't even link my Substack to that because I just really don't want anyone reading my stuff that
Yeah.
really knows me. It's such a weird thing. Even my husband, I'm like, he said something the other day. He's like, I'm a subscriber, but I don't read your stuff because I know you get like, you get all like sensitive about it. So I'm like, so Facebook is off, and Instagram, I was never big on Instagram, but I just don't like I don't know what's the word. I guess the vibe, for a
The
lack of a
facade.
better word.
It's plastic.
Um
It's like
mhm,
if you're not if you're not glamorous, you're not whateverism,
yeah.
you're not
You
gonna get.
know,
Yeah.
it it's just too it's too me centric. It's all about, and I experienced this. It's so funny. Last year we were in Paris, and my husband had the wonderful task of taking pictures of my daughter in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Okay.
And my mom and I just we were walking because I think it took him 45 minutes before she got the one picture that she felt like she could post on Instagram. And I was just like, it's too performative. Like, I just don't like that at
Yeah.
all, because I'm not about the filter. I'm not about, we go out to dinner. I'm like, take a picture, post it. Like, I don't care. I'm not like, I have friends that, they'll look at 15 different versions, and, they'll use 20 filters, and I don't like filters. So, I think
Okay.
what I'm learning about myself is I just like things that are real. Like, I don't want to be surprised. So if I see you, I want to know that that's you. I don't want to see you in a picture and then I meet you in person
Five,
and I'm like,
five or different versions.
yeah. Also, because
Catfishing.
I do not have a poker face. So
Yeah.
like, if I saw you one way and then you looked a different way, I think the shock would be would be terrible for both of us. But seriously, getting back to Substack, I do feel that it is the platform for us to just really bring our content and be as authentic as possible with the content. And it's a real place. It's where I create my art. And I've always been a finance, I've always worked in finance. So I've never really thought of myself as a creative person. My sister is an art major. So, I mean, she does art, like real art. She's talented. I think the only thing I can do is write. And so this is my art, and this is my place. And this is, just keeping it sacred. And that was my rant. That was part of my rant on that post, was I thought I finally found this place that was safe and, not like the other spaces. And then boom, you have other people from those platforms that are coming onto Substack. And I know this is not, I might be like digressing a bit, but that's the other thing that some people are doing, is they're coming with 300,000 followers off of Instagram, and then they're bringing those, followers to Substack, and within a day or a week, they're already in the thousands. And again, they're making other people feel like, they're work. I guess it's merit to some extent, because you're doing the work and you're putting it in, but somebody else is just coming, and they're not really being truthful.
Well, they're not sustainable because,
Yeah.
okay, I'll tell you why. 300, 400 people that I had subscribed to my thing, that was sustainable because it was actual organic growth.
Right.
And I started growing, I think last year when I was doing the daily post,
Mhm.
and I started growing and growing and growing. And all my numbers came from Substack.
Yeah.
It may come, like, I do post on Facebook sometimes and here on my own page, but a lot of times it's from Substack. Like 99% comes from Substack.
Yeah.
So so what happens is they they're going to last longer than the person that brings it from LinkedIn or Instagram or from whatever and dump them into this platform, because at the end of the day it's really not, it's not sustainable, because if you have like 2,000, 3,000 likes and you're only getting maybe a like or two, those people are not going to come from that platform to come to this platform unless
Yeah.
they figure out who they were. And I don't even know how to do that. And I don't want to do that. I don't
Yeah.
think that's not, I don't think that's authentic. I don't think that's real.
No, but that's there as well. So they're just, a lot of people are finding ways to game the system, and
Yeah,
it's
but you're not
just,
getting it, but you're not getting anything. All you're gaining is more of, I would say, more work.
well, it's vanity metrics to some
Oh, there you
people,
go.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. All of my subscribers are also from Substack, with the exception of like maybe my husband and my daughter, but
I have a few friends who
yeah.
actually, I got a friend who lives in New Mexico who always writes to me. He goes, "Are you serious?" or something like that. He's pretty harsh critic of mine, which is okay because he just busts me up a little bit here and there, but I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
But that's okay. But again,
Yeah.
like, you just, you do it in the way that it's meant to. And I think this is just people
Oh,
having conversations, you and
by the
me.
way, he is
Yeah.
mentioned in the book.
Oh, okay.
You have to figure him out.
All
I'm not
right,
going to
I
say who
will.
it is.
You
Yeah,
said New Mexico, so I'll
yeah.
uh I'll figure
Yeah, I
it
don't think
out.
I even named. I don't even think I named him. He was from New Mexico. I named him. He is named there, but he's not. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I have homework.
yeah.
Um I was going to say, just, in the spirit of just keeping this space really, um just, I don't want to say sacred, but it's a space for writers. And a lot of us, I mean, I think one in every three posts I read, or people that I connect with, actually say that they're not, there's no family or no friends, because it's so expressive, and you just, you write from your heart. And I mean, to me it's like a diary, but it's just, or a journal. And nobody wants anyone reading their journal unless you put it out there. And but whatever we write on Substack is what we choose to put out there. But
Yeah,
I like it, and I don't want it to become the next Twitter or the next
right.
Instagram.
I think I think there's, well, I don't want to become very political either. I don't want that to be like
Yeah.
a, and it's intentional. I don't read those articles. I don't want to touch those articles.
Yeah.
I got a lot of followers who do that, and I don't really. I mean, I'll comment if it's not political, but I don't really comment because I don't want my thing to kind of go in that world.
You and
Uh,
me both.
I got a question here. The corporate world measures you by numbers. Just a thought. Is it possible to take time to let go of the corporate mindset? I'm going to say no. You can't, because once and I mean, and I'll say why. Like a lot of my thinking, I think about ROIs. I think about what's the expectations? I think about how do we uh, how do we communicate better? I think about all the things, all the buzzwords that we were taught in the seminars, and I've been
Yeah,
to a lot of seminars,
I do.
um, and sit through all that. I think for me, that mindset of understanding how that works actually made me a better person moving forward, because now going into different, when I negotiate things, I have a little bit more understanding about legal. I have a better understanding about how what contracts work,
Yeah,
understand about negotiations. I have a better understanding of what a business plan looks like. And without that tool, I would not be. Now, the opposite side is I don't like the grind.
yeah,
The grind is where it hurts you. It's where it beats you up and takes you out. And but if you take that experience and you go work for a smaller company that doesn't have those tools and resources, and you become that tool and resources, that's a different type of scope, of a person, and you can really help another company. So I don't know. That's how I feel. I don't know how you
yeah.
feel.
Um, I agree. I mean, I agree. The experience and the knowledge you gain in that world, it's unbelievable because it's something that you have to live it day in day out, because it's not. I went to school. I have my bachelor's in accounting. I have my MBA,
Good.
and those things, you learn it and you could do a case study, but unless you live it, you really, you have to live it. You
Right.
have to live it. You have to experience it day by day. And not everything in corporate is bad. I mean, like you said, again, even in my last role, I was always in finance. In my last role, it was in supply chain finance, but I never really was exposed to that much contract negotiations, and so you do learn how to do these things, and it's great because they're life skills. Even finance, there are tons of life skills there. So you just apply it, you learn what you learn and you apply it. The bad stuff in corporate, like you said, to me, it's the politics. It's just really beyond anything like, you've ever seen it. It's the grind. It's some of what you're forced, you know, I think a lot of it is the rigid structure, things that you have to do that you're not necessarily happy to do, or they don't, they're not correlated with your beliefs.
Right.
And for me, I don't hate the corporate world in that sense, but I just 30 years, 30 plus years in it, I've had enough. I'm done. I'm out.
I want to. So I started newspapers long ago, and um, I remember we would sit around the editorial team, and we would talk the because we were a morning paper. It was a morning paper we were doing, and we had an afternoon and morning paper that we were delivering. But the morning paper was our bestseller, and it's because obviously the news didn't really hit a lot of people's radio or TV, and they were still getting warmed up. It was still a time where newspapers were really a part of the world. And I remember we would always argue about the headline. And goes back to the notes. I don't want to digress a little bit here. And it was always a picture, and it was always a headline. And the best headline and the best picture were, can you guess what they were?
No.
So anything that was violently terrible of any kind, a major car act,
Oh, yes. Okay.
investigation,
Yeah. So anything
and
negative.
and and it needed to be like that. And that's what our social media is like today. Like the
Yeah.
sensationalism of that is huge.
Yep.
But oddly, that one year, the best headline and the best picture outweighed every single one of them. Do you know what that was?
What year was this?
Well, this is, I'm just saying, it was back in 2020, 2006, something like that. But my point, like, do you know can you guess what a picture in that headline was? It was
No.
the best picture, the newspaper that day. So the pit, it a squirrel always finds a nut, and it was an albino squirrel.
Ah, wow.
So the
Okay.
albino, so
Is that
that
even a
changed
thing?
the way. Yeah, it was literally true. This someone took a pit. One of our photographers took a picture of the albino. I wish I could find it again. I thought I had the newspaper. But I don't think I have it anymore. Albino squirrel, and he was actually chipping on a nut.
Wow.
Yeah,
There. Well, I can see that. I mean, that's a little bit out there, right? It's rare, so
it's rare.
that
And so we were so back to notes. So what happened was, if you take that philosophy, it doesn't have to be glory. It doesn't have to be all that. It just has to be sweet. It could be sweet, kind, thoughtful,
different.
and it still be different, but also
Yeah.
give. Yeah. So just
Yeah,
a
one of my best notes was I took a snow picture with the birds. Um I have a nice view in the front. It's got the little birdhouse, and I just took a picture of the snow falling, and I think I got like a lot of likes on that note. So yeah, sometimes some things are just, you just never know though. You just never know
yeah.
what's going to resonate. So
So we also have another question from Mary, and she said, "Can you have a code for people who don't need a like on Substack? Can a person share that?" And I'm not really understanding that question, and I'm sorry, Mary, but does that make sense to you? What that
a
means?
code,
Yeah. So can you have a code for people who don't need a like on Substack? Can a person share that? I'm not really sure
I
if you
don't think I understand that. Sorry.
yeah. So other than that, that's um so I mean we talked a lot today about a bunch of stuff. And I think for writers, I think we hit a lot of what it takes to be a writer, the seasons you walk through. What's the one thing that if you're learning through this process that you can just share to someone who's starting out today?
Well, definitely I would say don't give up. I've personally written those messages to a couple of people. Again, I'm relatively new compared to John. I've been here for about 4 months, and just keep writing. I know it sounds cliche, but someone out there will find you, and you just never know. Write from your heart. I mean, that is what I learned. Do not go based on a template. Do not, even if you see someone's post going viral, don't try to replicate that. Not unless you have something to add to it that's your own piece. So just be authentic 100%. I'm learning this. The likes will come. If you're not like maybe getting traction, I would say within the first month to 2 months, then pivot the way John did, and try some new things, because sometimes you just never know. Like, that's what helps, right? You just keep gauging it. There's no perfect science. So
Well said. Nat, hey, thank you for jumping in. I appreciate you coming on,
thanks,
and
John.
thank you for sharing your experience and helping us understand what it takes to be a writer. So thank you. Next week, I think I'm bringing. I forgot to look at the calendar, but next week we're back on again. What's and if you haven't followed that, please do. She does write some great stuff, and thank you again.
Thanks, John.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.